It's not just the New York Post shading Katy Perry. One military family is begging Prince Harry to pull the California girl from the 2025 Invictus Games. Few entertainment professionals had a worse year than Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, executive producers of Polo. But Katy Perry was one of them. A recent New York Post headline read, "Why Katy Perry is 2024's biggest pop flop yet. As generic comeback trashed for having no personality. I too preferred her in a bra that squirted whipped cream." I also feel like she spent way too much time away from the music scene as a judge on American Idol, but other commentators point to Katy's decline around the branding of a feminist anthem titled Woman's World while working with a producer who was accused of assaulting a woman, pop star Kesha. Said producer denies the allegations, but the contradictions were very, very clear to Katy's typically very, very loyal fan base. Called a hypocrite for the July 2024 collaboration, Katy's lead single absolutely bombed with a one-star review from The Guardian. It peaked at number 47 in the UK and number 63 in the US of A. Thoroughly disappointing when you remember that Katy once tied Michael Jackson's record for sending 5 songs from a single album, 2010's Teenage Dream, to number 1. Flopping hard aside, Katy Perry and Meghan Markle have multiple things in common. For one, Meghan Markle and Katy Perry have both snogged Russell Brand, which is something I just remembered and secretly love. Katy was actually dating Russell when he kissed Meghan and get him to the Greek. Number 2, they both live in Montecito, California. Montecito is home to numerous celebrities, including Oprah Winfrey, Rob Lowe, and Gwyneth Paltrow. You'll hear that name a couple of times. Number 3, they both are allegedly bullies. Say it ain't so. We'll get to why Prince Harry has been begged to ditch Katy Perry from the Invictus Games by the son of a disabled war vet in a second. But let's recap Harry's history with the Sussexes. Shots fired. Back in 2018, Katy told Entertainment Tonight, "I would have done one more dress fitting." When asked about Meghan Markle's wedding gown in an interview with ET, the comment resurfaced in May of 2023 following Katy's performance at King Charles's coronation concert. You know, we thought she was on the winning team, but alas. In May of 2021, Prince Harry told the Armchair Expert podcast, Dax Shepard, or as I like to call him, Kristen Bell's husband, that Orlando Bloom regularly warned him about paparazzi in their area. He said just 2 days ago, Orlando Bloom sent me a message because he's just down the road and we sort of keep in contact because of the paparazzi. This bizarre relationship is all the more humorous when you remember that in 2020, Orlando played Prince Harry in the HBO Max animated series, The Prince. I mean, thankfully for Prince Harry, HBO canceled The Prince after one season, primarily due to its negative reception from critics. But Orlando did a great job of making Prince Harry look and sound like an absolute idiot. In February of 2023, the Sussexes were among the celebrity guests who witnessed Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi's surprise vow renewal. Other guests included Kris Jenner, Katy Perry in Orlando, and Gwyneth Paltrow. In November of 2023, Prince Harry and Meghan were branded eco-hypocrites after taking an Oil Airs private jet to a Katy Perry concert in Las Vegas. By the way, I live near Harry and Meghan relatively. You can get in the car and drive to Vegas so easily. The private jet is completely unnecessary. The founder of Travelist, a company that aims to provide travelers with sustainable options, Prince Harry, flew private alongside his wife, Meghan Markle, actress Cameron Diaz, and her husband, Benji Madden, to name a few. Fun fact, hours later, Harry's brother and heir to the throne, Prince William, flew on a commercial British Airways flight to Singapore for the Earthshot Prize Awards. In June of this year, a certain publication, we're not going to bother naming them, claimed Katy and Orlando gleefully attended Harry and Meghan's daughter Lily's private/intimate birthday party. While likely not blatantly shading those reports, Katy Perry turned her Google alerts off long ago Perry did squash the legitimacy of those rumors by posting how proud she was of her fiance, Orlando Bloom, for spending 5 days in Central Africa working for UNICEF at the same time of the Sussex's B-Day fiesta. Earlier this month, it was announced that the Invictus Games, which is slated for Vancouver next year, will feature a live performance from Katy Perry as part of its opening ceremony festivities. Reaction was certainly mixed, but now one military family is begging Prince Harry to give Perry the boot. Katy Perry versus Carl Westcott involves a claim that Mr. Westcott's judgment was clouded by powerful medication and ill health when he sold his home to Katy on July 15th, 2020. He had only purchased the house in May of that year and moved in 2 months prior to his dealings with Katy's representatives. The then 80-year-old had been discharged from the hospital only 4 days prior to signing, having undergone a 6-hour back operation. He was on a potent cocktail of drugs to numb the pain, his lawyers said. When the medication wore off, Westcott said he realized he'd made a horrible mistake and informed Katy's team by email on July 22nd that he no longer intended to sell his home. The combination of his age, frailty from his back condition and recent surgery, and the drugs he was taking several times a day rendered Mr. Westcott of unsound mind, his complaint argued. Katy's agents disregarded Westcott's plea, writing to him days later to warn they would sue if he did not give up the property. Westcott's family took up the fight on his behalf after he became bedridden and mentally incapacitated because of Huntington's disease, which attacks the brain and can cause progressive dementia. Now, Katy emerged victorious in the first phase of their trial last year after a judge ruled there was no persuasive evidence that Westcott lacked the capacity to sign the contract. I mean, hello, I'd say the man is currently bedridden and incapable of functioning by himself. But, who am I? Who am I to judge? Literally, I'm not the judge. Now, according to the Daily Mail, the family of the disabled war veteran in the legal battle with Katy Perry has sent a scathing letter to Prince Harry just days after she was announced as the headliner for Invictus. Carl Westcott, the former owner of Katy's Montecito mansion, embroiled in this lawsuit, has been countersued now by Katy for $6 million in damages. And it's his children that are having to represent him through this battle. And they're saying they're not going to back down. Obviously, Carl is not in a position to defend himself at this point in time, so his children are having to take it on. In a letter sent to Prince Harry, exclusively obtained by the Daily Mail, Carl's son, Chart Westcott, details his family's concerns about Katy performing at the Invictus Games Vancouver 2025 on February the 8th. According to the Mail, Harry and Meghan are now close pals with Perry and Bloom, like attracts like in the universe when you're a bully, allegedly, who will soon be forced to testify in court over the legal battle with Westcott, Orlando Bloom, now too, in Montecito, California. Carl, a veteran of the U.S. Army, has been bedridden for over a year as he continues to battle Huntington's disease. His family has been heavily involved with the vet's legal matters since he's been mentally incapacitated. And Chart writes in the letter to Harry, our father, who served honorably, was one of the soldiers deployed by President Eisenhower to uphold civil rights during the Little Rock 9 crisis. His lifetime of entrepreneurship embodies the resilience and values celebrated by the Invictus Games. Tragically, at 85 years old and bedridden with Huntington's disease, he's been unable to fully defend himself in a legal dispute with Miss Perry over his Montecito home. Mr. Westcott goes on to explain the years-long lawsuit and mentions the second trial is scheduled for February 25th. As our father's health declines, my brother and I are fighting to preserve his legacy as a man and as a veteran. Yet this legal struggle has become a source of immense pain for our family, he said. The choice to feature Miss Perry at the Invictus Games feels at odds with the event's mission to honor veterans and their sacrifices. While Miss Perry's participation may be seen as a gesture of support for veterans, her relentless pursuit of our father in court tells a different story, one that deeply undermines the values that the Games stand for. Chart ends the letter by respectfully requesting Prince Harry to reconsider Katy Perry's presence at the Invictus Games in Canada. He adds, our family greatly admires the work of the Invictus Foundation and its commitment to veterans worldwide. We believe that highlighting individuals whose actions align with these values is critical to preserving the integrity of this event. In an interview with the Daily Mail, Chart explained more about his family's motivation when it came to their decision to reach out to Prince Harry directly. It just seems like he could not have been aware of this incident and Katy's actions and complete lack of empathy to my father and our family, Chart told them. She doesn't care about disabled veterans, much less any of the folks who care to attend the Invictus Games. I know Harry himself is a veteran, and that's important to him. And I would hope that he would not want anyone or anything associated with the Games that had not shown themselves to be friends to the veterans community in the past. He then brought up a rumor that Perry was paid a great deal of money to perform at the event, although there have been no reports about any sort of compensation to any of the performers, including Perry. It was in May that Katy gained control of the $15 million property after she was awarded rights to the Montecito estate. Katy officially filed the deed for the property and has taken ownership from Carl Westcott. She's currently working on renovating the home since she is claiming $6 million in damages and lost income. Chart says this legal battle has been the elephant in the room. It's been a constant source of stress. It's painful. It was the house Carl wanted to die in, and him not being able to stay there, it was really a very big contributor to where he ended up. Had he still had that house, had he still been able to stay there, it would have been easier for us to manage getting care for him there. He went on to accuse Katy of having fake empathy. That sounds familiar. Saying, I mean, she blows off the whole thing, sends her expensive lawyers to just absolutely make things as painful as possible on all of us while she's gallivanting about the globe, showcasing her fake empathy from one end to the other. And that, I think, is the thing that always bothers me the most, is how fake she is. I mean, I think she's the single most cringe and inauthentic human being on the whole planet for a long time, he claimed. Well, let me introduce you to Prince Harry's wife. Orlando Bloom has been dragged into the real estate battle as well, having been served a subpoena to testify in court. The family believes strongly that Orlando should testify, as he was, according to them, heavily involved in the property management once the keys were exchanged and he visited prior. Katy will also be testifying in the trial beginning February 25th. Chart said, we absolutely cannot wait to see how she handles some of the false statements or the statements that she put in her deposition, which clearly contrast with some of the claims she is making during the damage phase. She has a real issue of whether she'll be able to be consistent with her testimony given some of her damages claims. When asked if Chart had ever met Harry in person, he said he was prohibited from speaking about it since his family had attempted mediation. This is not the first time Katy Perry has been accused of bullying an elderly person over property. Katy Perry, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. Katy Perry once sued a group of nuns after she purchased a Los Angeles convent in 2018. That is not the worst part of the story. One of the nuns, this is facts. One of the nuns involved in the Katy Perry convent lawsuit collapsed and died in court. Jesus, take the wheel. Should Prince Harry kick Katy to the curb to show support for a fellow veteran? Let me know in the comments below. If you made it to the end of this video, comment with a palm tree emoji or the word Montecito so I can see you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with a friend. Thanks so much for watching. You might want to turn Katy Perry off after watching this video in full. I apologize if I ruined Katy Perry for you. I'm Kinsey Schofield.